Plato's Republic is a Socratic dialogue primarily concerned with answering one fundamental question. What is justice, and why should we be just? The book uses this question to explore the ideal state, the nature of reality, and the human soul. Key themes and concepts. 1. Justice in the state and the soul. Plato argues that justice is a harmony between the parts of a whole. To understand justice in the individual human soul, psyche, he first constructs a just city-state, polis, believing it to be easier to see on a larger scale. The just state, the calipolis. Plato's ideal state is composed of 3 classes, each corresponding to a part of the soul. Rulers, philosopher, kings. Guided by reason and wisdom, their role is to govern justly. Auxiliaries, guardians, warriors. Motivated by spirit and courage, their role is to defend the state and enforce the ruler's decrees. Producers, artisans and farmers, driven by appetite and desire. Their role is to produce goods, food and wealth for the community. A state is just when each class performs its own role excellently, without interfering with the roles of the others. This is the principle of one man, one job. The just individual. Similarly, the human soul has 3 parts. Rational part, reason, seeks truth and should rule the soul. Spirited part, spirit, source of anger, ambition and courage. It should enforce reason's dictates. Appetitive part, appetite, desires pleasure, food, drink and money. An individual is just when the rational part, aided by the spirited part, rules the appetitive part. Justice is an internal harmony of the soul. 2. The philosopher king. The most famous and controversial idea in the Republic. Plato argues that the only way for the state to be truly just is for it to be ruled by philosophers. Why? Because only philosophers have knowledge of the form of the good, the ultimate, eternal truth and source of all reality, which is like the sun illuminating all true knowledge. They are not lovers of power or wealth, but lovers of truth and wisdom. Their knowledge qualifies them to rule for the benefit of all, not for their own self-interest. 3. The theory of forms. This is the foundation of Plato's metaphysics. He posits that the physical world we perceive is only a shadow or imperfect copy of a higher, eternal and unchanging reality, the world of forms or ideas. Forms are perfect abstract concepts, e.g., the form of justice, the form of beauty, the form of a circle. True knowledge comes from understanding these forms, not from observing their imperfect copies in the physical world. The philosopher king is one who has grasped the form of the good. 4. The allegory of the cave. This powerful metaphor illustrates the theory of forms and the philosopher's role in society. The cave. Prisoners are chained in a cave, seeing only shadows on a wall cast by a fire behind them. They mistake these shadows for reality. The journey. One prisoner is freed and ascends out of the cave. He is initially blinded by the sun, the form of the good, but eventually sees the true world. The return. The enlightened prisoner returns to the cave to tell the others the truth, but they reject him and prefer their familiar shadows. The meaning. The cave represents the ignorant world of appearances. The journey symbolizes the philosopher's education, an ascent to true knowledge. The return represents the philosopher's duty to govern and educate, even if he is ridiculed. 5. Education and the noble lie. Plato outlines a rigorous education system to produce the guardian and ruler classes, focusing on gymnastics for the body and music, poetry for the soul, followed by advanced mathematics and philosophy. To ensure social harmony, he proposes a noble lie, a myth or useful fiction, that all citizens were born from the earth, and the gods mixed gold in the souls of rulers, silver in the auxiliaries, and brass or iron in the producers. This justifies the class structure and promotes civic unity.
But isn't the noble lie inherently unjust? How can there be an inherent injustice in the very definition of justice?
That is an excellent and fundamental question that gets to the very heart of the tension in Plato's Republic. You have pinpointed what many critics consider the central flaw or paradox in his entire construction. Yes, the noble lie, or magnificent myth, as it's sometimes translated, is inherently unjust by almost any common definition of justice, which includes honesty, fairness, and equality before the truth. Here's an elaboration on why Plato includes it, and how it creates a splinter or contradiction within his own definition of justice. 1. Plato's justification, the noble part of the lie. Plato doesn't see it as a self-serving lie for the powerful. He justifies it based on its function and purpose within the Kallipolis, the beautiful or ideal city's social harmony, civic justice. The primary purpose of the lie is to create unity. It tells all citizens that they are all born from the same earth, mother, making them all brothers and sisters. More importantly, it makes the class structure a matter of divine fate, the metal in one's soul, rather than human prejudice or nepotism. In theory, a child of producers, bronze, found to have a gold soul would be promoted to the ruling class, and a child of rulers, gold, found to have a bronze soul would be demoted. For Plato, the ultimate good is the stability and perfection of the state, which in turn creates the conditions for the souls of its citizens to be just. He operates on a utilitarian principle. A small foundational fiction prevents the much greater evils of class envy, political strife, and civil war. The lie is a prophylactic against the selfishness and factionalism that destroys cities. It's for the believers. From the philosopher king's perspective, they know the truth, that it's a myth. The lie is not for their benefit, but for the benefit of the auxiliaries and producers. Plato argues that the non-philosopher classes are not capable of understanding the true, rational basis for the social order, the form of the good. They require a simple, powerful story to align their spirits and appetites with the rational plan of the state.
What if a producer does understand the form of good, therefore qualifies as a ruler, but is denied the chance to be promoted to the ruling class?
This question strikes at the practical and ethical heart of Plato's entire system. You've identified what is perhaps the most significant point of failure in the Kallipolis, the ideal city. Plato's system is designed to prevent exactly this scenario, but your question proves why, in practice, it is a catastrophic weakness. Let's break down the theory, the problem, and the implications. 1. The theory. How Plato's system is supposed to work. Plato anticipates this. His system includes a crucial mechanism to prevent it. The myth of the metals is a lie for stability, not a truth for selection. The noble lie is meant to create social harmony, but it is not the actual method for determining a person's class. The real method is a rigorous, multi-decade system of education and testing. Upward and downward mobility, A core part of the philosopher king's job is to constantly observe the children in the city. They are not looking at their parentage, but at their natural abilities and the nature of their soul. If a child is born to produce appearance but shows exceptional aptitude, courage, and reason, they would be identified and promoted into the guardian class to receive further education. Conversely, if a child of guardians shows themselves to be suited for a productive trade rather than warfare or philosophy, they would be demoted to the producer class. The purpose of education as a saiv. The entire educational system, gymnastics, music, mathematics, dialectic, is designed as a series of filters. Its purpose is to find those rare individuals whose rational nature is so powerful that they can grasp the form of the good. Their birth origin is, in theory, irrelevant. So, in the ideal functioning of the ideal city, your hypothetical producer would be identified as a child, promoted, and given every opportunity to rise to the station their nature deserves.
I see.